What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. Now, before I get started on this video, you guys know how Segaris and Price have their errors and omissions segment at the end of their shows? Well, I want to do a quick little error from my previous video where I talked about, training camp and where it could be in Kelowna, it could be at Rogers Arena. Well, they announced where training camp was, and it is, in fact, going to be in Penticton again. So just a quick little wanted to make sure I corrected that from my previous video. Obviously, that article that I read from was from a few days ago, and it was prior to the announcement that training camp will in fact be in Penticton. So I wanted to start off this video by acknowledging that. But let's go ahead and for this video, we're going to be talking about something a little juicy, and it's a possible trade targets. Something we haven't done in a little bit. And I thought it was interesting because it involves a team that both Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have a history with. So, but before we dive right into it, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that incredible artwork you see there behind me. So go ahead and check him out, GassyJackArt.com. You can also check him out on Instagram at Gassy Jack Art. Still has his end of season sale going on where you can buy 2 prints and get an additional 2 prints for free. So go ahead and check him out. But let's go ahead and dive into the topic of this video. And it is, as you can tell from the thumbnail, as well as the title of this video, should the Vancouver Canucks trade for available Penguins wingers Brian Rust and or Rakell? This article is obviously written by our friends at Canucks Army. This one written by Tyson Cole. The free agent cupboards are bare with the likes of Jack Roslovic headlining the best available players on the market. Yet there's a lot of talk around the league about teams not being happy with their roster and will look to attack the trade market, to fill their voids. However, there's only one team in the league that appears to be actively trying to sell off assets and get worse: the Pittsburgh Penguins. This comes as a surprise, considering the clear sellers market as well as the strength of the 2026 NHL draft class with Gavin McKenna and Keaton Vierhoff. Not sure if I butchered that name, at the top of the board. Nonetheless, the Penguins are in a advantageous position to capitalize on some of their players. According to the Athletics' Josh Yeo, the Penguins are receiving calls on a pair of wingers, Brian Rust and Rakell. Brian Rust and Rakell remain considerable commodities on the trade market and league, and Penguins sources said opposing teams still have heavy interest in both wingers. The Penguins have been fielding calls about both players since last season ended. With Rust and Rakell being the highest profile names available on the market, do either of them make sense for the Vancouver Canucks to trade for? Let's take a look at the players. Rust, 33, is a 5'11" right shot winger who's coming off a career year. The Michigan native scored 31 goals and 65 points despite missing 11 games and finishing with a -21 rating. Spending all 11 years of his NHL career in Pittsburgh, Rust has often played second fiddle to either Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin. However, he has been the perfect complementary piece for the two-star centerman, finishing with over 40 points in 6 straight seasons. Despite the smaller frame, Rust is tenacious on the forecheck and is a great facilitator to get the puck to the main playmaker. Rakell, on the other hand, is 32 and is a 6'1" right shot winger who is also coming off a career year, playing for the majority of the season on Sidney Crosby's wing. Rakell scored 35 goals and 70 points in 81 games played. His efforts during the season earned him a spot on Team Sweden's Four Nations faceoff roster as an extra when Vegas Golden Knights centerman William Karlsson missed with an injury. Throughout his 13-year career, Rakell has proven to be a consistent goal scorer. He has scored 236 goals in 802 games, doing most of it without much help in Anaheim. Despite the smaller frame... Oh, never mind. That's just a repeat. We mentioned Rust being despite his smaller frame being tenacious on the forecheck, he brings more of an all-around game, whereas Rakell is more of a traditional sniper who can also create more on his own. Let's now take a look at the fit and how either of these two guys would fit on this Canucks team. Both Rust and Rakell would bring offensive upside to a Canucks top six that lacks a secondary star in the lineup. Unfortunately, you won't find that in either Rust or Rakell. If you're looking for more of a play driver, Rakell is probably the one to target. However, neither forward has been known to drive their own line. But looking at the Canucks' current lineup, where would either fit in? You got your first line, Evander Kane, Elias Pettersson, and Niels Höglander. Your second line, Jake DeBrusk, Philip Hedl, and Brock Besser. Your third line, Dakota Joshua, Atu Ratu, Connor Garland. And then your fourth line, you have Drew O'Connor, Teddy Bluger, and Kiefer Sherwood. As currently constructed, there is just no room for Rust or Rakell. The Canucks have 8 NHL caliber wingers already on the team. And that's not including AHL playoff leading goal scorer Linus Karlsson, who deserves a shot with the big club next season. The Canucks' hole is down the middle of the ice, but that's not news to any of you. Rakell has some experience playing center, finishing with over 600 faceoffs in a single season, but that was all the way back in the 2017-2018 season. Since being traded to Pittsburgh, Rakell has taken just 84 in his 4 seasons, so you can rule out the option of Rakell at 2C. Let's take a look at the verdict. Should the Canucks trade for Rust or Rakell? No, probably not. Would these players help the Canucks' scoring woes? Undoubtedly. However, there just isn't room for either player on the wings here in Vancouver. Not to mention the Canucks have under $1 million of available cap space. So even if they wanted to acquire one of these players, they would have to move out 2 of their current wingers and some to create the cap room and the lineup space to make it work. It just seems like too much roster maneuvering to fit in a winger when they already have too many. A second line center, on the other hand, would make more sense to move some wingers out to fill that void down the middle, but not in this deal for either Rust or Rakell, which is unfortunate, as I will admit I am really high on both Rust and Rakell. Could the Canucks maybe move out some of those wingers? Like, just looking at the lineup, could they move out Joshua? Could they move out O'Connor? But at the same time, Rust nor Rakell or bottom 6 wingers. Could they maybe upgrade for one of them? Perhaps. I could see them maybe moving out Niels Höglander and replacing him with either Rust or Rakell. But I want to know from you guys, the Canucks fans, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys like the idea of them, maybe initiating a trade between them and the Penguins? Maybe they can, kill 2 birds with 1 stone and not only free up some cap space, maybe have Pittsburgh take on some money, and they can also get an upgraded winger in the likes of Rakell or Brian Rust. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. If you want to find us and interact with us on social media, you can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. Find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Fan. You can also find us on TikTok at the TLC Podcast. We're also now on Blue Sky, so go ahead and check us out on Blue Sky at The Line Change. And feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us. It is, of course, greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, let's go Canucks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.